Hello everyone and a very good afternoon to all of you. We had of course started off with the law of torts, right? And we had done a little bit of law of torts yesterday. We had just started off early in the evening, the 8 p.m. session, an introduction to torts and some of the basics of how to approach legal reasoning questions and so on. So that's what we had discussed yesterday in the evening. And in continuance, in furtherance of our discussion on the law of torts, we will, of course, properly start looking at general defenses today, particularly contributory negligence, which is essentially of two types, right? That is plaintiff's own fault and fault of third party, and a very important provision as far as the law of torts is concerned and general defenses is concerned, that is the right to private defense. Of course, right to private defense is a kind of a defense which is applicable not only for tort law, but it is also something which is very useful when it comes to the idea of criminal law as well, because it's the same concept, same philosophy, same essential conditions, sab kuch by and large very similar. So that's the plan for today afternoon in this session. By way of a quick introduction, my name is Debajyoti and I have graduated from Hidayatullah National University in Raipur. I've also secured an All India rank 20 in the NLSIU Bangalore entrance of 2006. I've also been a Microsoft Intellectual Property Research Scholar, and I've been a capital market lawyer specializing in capital markets, that is, at one of India's largest law firms, corporate law firms, called Amarchand Mangal Das. Okay. Now, if you want to join me on my Telegram group, of course, this is an actual screenshot from the Telegram group. Do feel free to join me. That's the link right there. Deb Legal is the Telegram group, and the name of the group is Deb D Legal, standing for Debajyoti Das. Right? I'm sure all of you are looking forward to the various subscriptions as well. Please do remember to use my code DEB10 to get an additional 10% discount if you guys have been enjoying my lectures. And it's a big high five to me as well. It gives me a lot of appreciation. So please do remember to use my code for the various subscriptions that you're taking. Of course, you're all aware of the various unique features of the Unacademy platform, whether it is in the plus classes, which is the paid classes, or in the special classes, which are completely free. We do have a raise a hand and talk to the educator feature, which is very unique. That means you can actually speak right in the plus as well as on the special class and on the Unacademy platform. We have various batches that you can join in. Starting today, we have the Rankers Batch 2.0, which is a 2-year comprehensive batch for CLAT 2023. You will of course have access to all the various monthly compendiums, the raise a hand feature which I spoke about, the weekly tests, mock tests, of course the live classes will continue, and the same features are also available in the Legalicious batch, which is the 1-year comprehensive batch for CLAT 2022, as well as the Lawscape batch, which is also a 1-year batch for CLAT 2022, depending on which examination you are looking forward to giving, depending on which examination your target is, whether it is next year or the year after that, right? And also the live quiz feature, which is available now for students, where you can host your own quiz sessions. You can also participate in the quiz which are scheduled by the faculty members and so on. Please enjoy using this feature and making the most of it as well. Now, just to do a quick revision in terms of what we had discussed yesterday, right? A quick revision in terms of what we had discussed yesterday. I had started off with the difference between tort and crime, right? Tort and crime में क्या difference है? Because criminal law is a separate area as far as your CLAT preparation also is concerned. और criminal law में लोग jail जाते हैं. You are, you're a threat to the entire society. Punishment में jail जाते हैं. And one of the main beginning points, right, कि जहां से ये पूरा difference शुरू होता है, is basically the idea that there is a mental intention, right, or criminal intention, which is something which is essential as far as criminal law is concerned. Most of the crimes में चाहिए होता है, whereas tort law में mental intention or mens rea is not something which is completely essential, right? Then we had moved on to the difference between tort and contract as well. Again, I strongly suggest to everyone कि कल रात वाला जो session था, yesterday evening at 8 p.m, the session that we had, please try to watch that session where I've discussed all of these things in quite a bit of detail, right? Contract और tort में भी क्या difference है. दोनों civil offenses हैं, right? Both are civil offenses, but in yesterday's session we had also discussed what is the difference between liquidated and unliquidated. Liquidated में damages या compensation जो है वो पहले से fixed होता है, right? It's a pre-decided kind of compensation, whereas tort law में obviously हम accident होता है या कुछ होता है तो उसके बाद it is only after that we calculate the compensation and so on, right? अब on what basis do we calculate the whole compensation etc, that is the concept of unliquidated damages, जिसमें हमने बहुत सारे categories of damages भी discuss किए थे. That is nominal damage, actual damage, emotional damage or mental damage, right? अगर कोई special damage हुआ है, like yesterday I was giving you guys the example that if you're missing your CLAT exam, एक accident हो गया, admitted in the hospital, और जिस time आप hospital में admit थे उसी time let's say CLAT का examination भी था, तो your whole year got wasted. So that's kind of a special or an exemplary damage that you are actually facing. So उसमें एक special type का compensation भी therefore आपको provide करना पड़ेगा. Special compensation plaintiff को देना पड़ेगा if you are the plaintiff, right? You will be having a right to receive that special compensation from the defendant, right? And punitive damage again is a unique form of damage that we had discussed yesterday, क्योंकि punitive damage में हम एक punishment provide कर रहे हैं, right? ऐसा नहीं है सिर्फ कि we are simply restoring you back to your original position, which is what we do normally. Most of the torts, right? The whole idea of compensation, right? The whole idea of compensation is basically that we will try to restore you back into a situation as if an accident has not happened, right? As if an accident has not happened. But punitive damage में हम उसके beyond जा रहे हैं. It is not only based on how much damage you have suffered, but उसमें हम ये भी फैक्टर देखेंगे कि कोई आदमी अगर बार बार एक ही गलती को रिपीट कर रहा है, एक ही टॉट को रिपीट कर रहा है, and so on, then what kind of compensation, what kind of punishment basically that person should be getting, right? And that's the idea of punitive damage, right? तो ये सब हमने कल काफी डिटेल में ये सब हमने ऑलरेडी कल डिस्कस कर लिया था, right? As of now, right? As of now, what we will get started with is, of course, the basics of general defenses itself, right? One of the general defenses we'll start with is contributory negligence. But उससे पहले just one last thing जो हमने कल फिर डिस्कस किया ही था, right? That is कि essentials of law होना चाहिए पहले, फिर exceptions देखना है हमें, defenses देखना है. तो what's the concept? And ये वाला question I hope everybody remembers. इसमें correct answer option A होगा, because step 1 is essentials of law and essentials fulfill नहीं हुए हैं because B did not die as far as the issue of murder is concerned. That's why again इसका काफी डिटेल में मैंने explanation दिया है कल yesterday evening session, right? Okay. Now, let's get started with general defenses, and the first general defense is contributory negligence. Okay. Now, contributory negligence में क्या होता है? The idea is basically if you look at it from a practical perspective, practically what or how we use contributory negligences, usually there will be two parties, right? In any tort case, कौन दो लोग होते हैं? There is a plaintiff, right? There is a plaintiff and there is a defendant. Okay, these are the two parties in any kind of a contract. Now, between the plaintiff and the defendant, plaintiff is the person who has suffered the damage, and the defendant is the person जिसके against case file हो रहा है. He is the person who has allegedly, probably, right? Probably that is the person who has committed the crime, and therefore उसके against case हो रहा है कि आपको compensation pay करना पड़ेगा and so on. Okay. So when we're looking at defenses, any defense, whether it is general defenses like contributory negligence, या कभी भी हम कोई भी defense की अगर बात करते हैं, defenses are obviously something which is to be used by the defendant, right? So contributory negligence is also something, who will use this defense? Who will use this defense? Of course, this is something which will be used by the defendant. So defendant is going to argue कि ऐसा है कि ये सिर्फ मेरी गलती नहीं थी. Okay, there is some accident or damage or whatever that has happened, and this accident or damage, whatever it is not only my fault, it is also the plaintiff's own fault. plaintiff की खुद की भी इसमें गलती है. या फिर डिफेंडेंट ये भी कह सकता है कि ये सिर्फ मेरी गलती नहीं है, ये किसी और की गलती भी है, थर्ड पर्सन. ठीक है, प्लेंटिफ की गलती नहीं है लेकिन किसी और की भी गलती है. सो देयरफॉर आई शुड नॉट बी द ओनली वन, I should not be the only one who is paying compensation. केस मेरे अगेंस्ट अकेले क्यों हो रहा है? केस होना है तो दोनों के अगेंस्ट होना चाहिए, जो अदर थर्ड पर्सन है और मैं हूं. So usually what happens is, this defense of contributory negligence, usually इसका पर्पस ये होता है that I will basically, if I am the defendant, I will basically claim that there should be a reduction, right? There should be a reduced amount of compensation that I have to pay, right? मान लो आपने 5,000 रुपए का केस किया है. If you filed a case of 5,000 rupees, I don't have to pay the full 5,000 rupees क्योंकि आपकी खुद की भी गलती थी या किसी और की गलती थी, तो मुझसे आप 2,000 लीजिए, मुझसे आप 3,000, जितना मेरा कंट्रीब्यूशन था, राइट? Whatever is the amount that I have contributed, right? It is that contribution which has to be taken into account, and I should therefore be paying proportional to the damage that I have actually caused. That's the logic. Now when it comes to the CLAT paper, ये तो प्रैक्टिकल हो गया. अगर कोर्ट में हम देखेंगे तो ऐसे यूज किया जाता है इसको, बट प्रैक्टिकली व्हेन इट कम्स टू क्लैट एग्जाम, कोर्ट अलग है, क्लैट अलग है, राइट? क्या डिफरेंस है कोर्ट और क्लैट में? कोर्ट और क्लैट में डिफरेंस ये हो रहा है दैट इन द क्लैट एग्जामिनेशन, मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस दैट यू विल गेट, आपको ये कभी पूछा नहीं जाएगा व्हाट इज द अमाउंट, राइट? You will not be asked the amount of compensation. अमाउंट आपसे नहीं पूछा जाएगा. आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा वेरी सिंपल. your question will be liable or not liable. okay, आपसे यही पूछा जाएगा कि भाई लायबल है या नॉट लायबल है. अब अगर हम नॉट लायबल बोलना चाहते हैं, द डिफेंडेंट्स कंट्रीब्यूशन, डिफेंडेंट मतलब जिसके अगेंस्ट केस फाइल हो रहा है, उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन जब 0 हो जाएगा, राइट, उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन जब जीरो हो जाएगा, then only we can say that this person is not liable, right? क्योंकि अगर उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन 5% भी है, अगर उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन 3% है, 6% है, जो भी है, जीरो से ज्यादा अगर कंट्रीब्यूशन है, तो 10 रुपए हो, 15 रुपए हो, 50 रुपए हो, कुछ तो कॉम्पेंसेशन पे करेगा ना. एंड द मोमेंट यू आर पेइंग एनी कॉम्पेंसेशन, वेदर इट इज 10 rupees और 50 rupees और ₹1,000,000, आंसर तो तब भी लायबल ही है, राइट? योर लायबिलिटी इज नॉट जीरो. लायबिलिटी जब तक जीरो नहीं हो रहा है, आवर आंसर इज नॉट चेंजिंग फ्रॉम लायबल टू नॉट लायबल. 100% लायबल है तो भी आंसर लायबल है, 90% लायबल है तो भी आंसर लायबल है, राइट? 50% liable, still liable. 10% liable, still liable. 0% liable. When it becomes 0% liable, then our answer changes from liable to not liable. Okay? So, most of the times when it comes to the CLAT paper, हम ये reduced compensation और ये सब angle पे हमें जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, because we don't have to provide the amount, because that's usually never going to be the question, right? अब हमें क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा जाएगा, भाई देखो लायबल है या नहीं है, राइट राइट राइट. ओके, which means what we should be doing also is trying to figure out what is the defendant's contribution. Okay, defendant's contribution कितना है. If it is greater than zero, right? Defendant's contribution अगर greater than zero है, that means defendant is liable, right? Defendant's contribution zero हो जाएगा, that means defendant is not liable. Okay, I hope everybody is going to be able to follow this logic. We just have to check कि defendant की खुद की गलती कितनी थी. अगर उसकी गलती जीरो से ज्यादा थी तो आंसर लायबल होगा. अगर उसकी गलती जीरो थी, उसकी गलती से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता था, right? Then the answer is basically going to become not liable. So therefore, we just have to evaluate the defendant's contribution. Now, sometimes what can also happen, we have to do a two-step analysis, right? Is the defendant at fault or not? अब defendant की अगर गलती ही नहीं है, defendant is simply not at fault, then it's very easy for us, right? It's very easy for us to conclude कि भाई obviously that means the defendant is not liable. But sometimes it can also happen, right, that defendant is at fault. अगर no है तो आंसर not liable हो गया, बात खत्म हो गई. Now it can also be that the fault का आंसर yes है, right, but fault doesn't matter. Fault doesn't matter, ये भी हो सकता है. Fault तो है, but the fault doesn't matter. Then also the defendant's contribution to the overall damage, again becomes zero. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, हम ये example देखते हैं. I think it will make, अभी theory तो बहुत सारा देख लिया, एक example देखते हैं. Okay, now all of you have seen like railway crossings. In India में वैसे भी railway crossings is decently unique kind of example, or decently unique experience as far as railway crossings are concerned. Now in a railway crossing, let's say in a railway crossing अगर हम देखेंगे कि वो closed था, right, the barricades closed था, तो nobody is going forward, nobody is coming back, वो closed है, ट्रेन जाएगा, उसके बाद ही लोग जाएंगे. ठीक है, simple. But let's say in a situation where where the barricades are not closed. Okay, the barricades are closing. Okay, अभी बंद हो रहा है धीरे धीरे. The barricades are closing. अब a lot of you must have seen barricades closing हो रहा है तो इंडिया में तो लोग हॉर्न बजाने लगे, कुछ करने लगे. क्या it's an electrical barricade but somehow they expect हॉर्न बजाने से रुक जाएगा. बट ठीक है. अब एक आदमी ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट, very sure about what he can do with his life or yourself. So that person, what he did, he crossed the barricade, right? उसने एक barricade cross कर लिया. Cross करके by the time he crossed the rails also, पहला barricade तो cross हो गया, but the other barricade got closed. And in the meanwhile, both the barricades. So the car now the car is stuck in the middle of the train tracks. Car is stuck. Simple proposition. And इसमें हम अलग से there is no complication कि वो बात कर सकता था, ये हो सकता था, ऐसा हो सकता था. Nothing. The car is stuck. That's it. Chapter closer. We are not complicating it any further. Now, the train starts coming and the train is coming at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour, right? Train ka speed kya hai? 60 kilometers per hour. The car is stuck in the middle of the track. Okay, no complication. The driver of the train, okay, this is driver of the train. ये मान लेते हैं, ये driver of the train है. Okay. Now the driver of the train could have seen the car, right, from a distance of, let's say, 800 meters, right? So the question here is, if you look at the situation, ultimately जब accident होगा, उसने देखा नहीं, he was negligent. Okay, the engine driver was negligent. The engine driver was not looking at the tracks. The engine driver was looking somewhere else. He was negligent. उसने देखा नहीं, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, राइट? तो ये तो फैक्ट्स है. अब जब ये ट्रेन और एक कार का एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, प्लेंटिफ कौन होगा? मेन डैमेज किसको हुआ है? कार ओनर को, राइट? ऑब्वियसली द कार ओनर इज द वन हु इज गोइंग टू फाइल द केस, एंड द इंजन ड्राइवर और द रेलवेज व्हाटएवर, they will basically become the defendants, right? अब हमें क्या चेक करना है? डिफेंडेंट्स कंट्रीब्यूशन कितना है, राइट? डिफेंडेंट्स कंट्रीब्यूशन कितना है, दैट्स बेसिकली व्हाट वी हैव टू चेक. कार ओनर इज द प्लेंटिफ, इंजन ड्राइवर इज द डिफेंडेंट. डिफेंडेंट was negligent. The defendant was negligent. So was there fault? Was there fault? Yes, यहां पर fault है. The defendant is at fault. The question is, उसके fault से कोई फर्क पड़ा या नहीं पड़ा? Fault तो है, right? But does his fault matter? क्या उसके fault से फर्क पड़ रहा है? Now how do we decide it? How do we decide कि उसके fault से फर्क पड़ रहा है या नहीं पड़ रहा है? The simplest way to figure it out is basically, was the accident avoidable? अगर वो देख लेता कार को 800 मीटर के डिस्टेंस से, could he have avoided the accident? That's the whole question. अगर अवॉइड हो सकता था, मतलब उसकी गलती से फर्क पड़ रहा था. गलती तो किया ही है, राइट? बट गलती से फर्क कब पड़ रहा था? जब एक्सीडेंट अवॉइडेबल होता. इफ द एक्सीडेंट वाज नॉट अवॉइडेबल, मतलब उसकी गलती से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा था, राइट? So therefore, what do you guys think? Okay, Vansh is here. Hi Vansh, good evening. Sorry for being late. No worries, you can always watch it because it's obviously going to be available in a recorded format and all of that also, no? So no worries, no worries. Yes. So what do you think, Vansh? Have you seen the question? Railway crossing tha, there was a train traveling at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour and the car was stuck in the middle of the track. Driver could have seen the car from a distance of 800 meters. So first of all, can anybody tell me 60 किलोमीटर पर आवर स्पीड है, 60 kph स्पीड, 800 meters distance, what is the time? स्पीड डिस्टेंस टाइम आप सबके सिलेबस में भी है ना. क्या टाइम लगेगा? मतलब कोई ब्रेक नहीं, कुछ नहीं, सीधा जाके एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, तो हाउ मच टाइम विल इट टेक for the engine to, or whatever, the train to go and crash into the car? क्या टाइम लगेगा? What is the time that it's going to take? Very easy question, guys. Very, 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 very easy question. This is basic mental maths, huh? ये पेन पेपर और ये 5/18 और आई होप ये सब कुछ आप लोग करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही है. You can of course follow that process and you will anyway get the right answer. But basic speed distance time is 60 kph. Please remember this, huh? Just a tip. Please remember 60 kph is basically 1 kilometer per minute, right? 60 kilometer per hour is 1 kilometer per minute, which means 1000 meters 60 seconds, which means 100 meters 6 seconds, right? Which means 800 meters कितना होगा? 6 into 8, right? 48 seconds. Just a faster, just a much faster way of sort of looking at. Particularly अगर 60 या 60 के मल्टीपल्स में दिया होगा ना, तो फॉर एग्जांपल 30 दिया होगा अगर, तो आप 2 किलोमीटर पर मिनट कर लेंगे, 2000 मीटर 60 सेकेंड्स, राइट? सॉरी, 1 किलोमीटर इन 2 मिनट्स हो जाएगा, 120 सेकेंड्स हो जाएगा ना, टाइम डबल हो जाएगा, राइट? 120 किलोमीटर पर आवर दिया हुआ है, तो फिर 2000 मीटर्स इन 60 सेकेंड्स, राइट? यस सर, इट्स 0.48 minutes. So it's not 0.48 minutes. Is that really the right way to look at it? 0.48 will be 48 by 100 into 60, no? Or I don't know. 48 seconds is the unit change कर लो भाई, ज़्यादा आसान रहेगा I think. So 48 by 60 into 100 is the decimal में निकालना है, तो 48 by 60 into 100, right? So 4 by 5 into 100 should be what? 0.6 minutes or 7 minutes, I don't know, something like that. एक बार मैं कर ही लेता हूँ, अब मुझे बहुत इरिटेशन हो रहा है. 12 into 4, 5, right? So yeah, 4 by 5 into 100, 24, 80%. So 0.8 minutes. 0.8 minutes would be probably the correct answer. But 48 seconds is yes. Hi Sumit. Sorry. What's up Sumit? Very good evening. Good to see you. मैं तो बढ़िया हूँ भाई. बढ़िया मतलब अभी 10 सेकंड पहले तक बढ़िया था, वरना अभी खांसी आ रही है. So excuse me for that. Right, ठीक है. Okay, anyway, we are not going to convert this into a completely speed distance time lecture. I just wanted to leave you with this tip. 60 kph बस सब लोग याद रख लो, जितने लोग देख रहे हैं या जितने लोग बाद में भी देखेंगे, all the good folks who are going to watch this, please remember, अगली बार speed distance time में अगर इस टाइप का numbers आया, it's just much faster for you to be able to solve it. Right, sir, seeing you after a long time. अरे very good to see you also. Don't worry, phone ही कर लिया करो, इतना क्या संघर्ष है. जब भी बात करना हो, you can just pick up the phone and give me a call, okay? Okay, so my question is, obviously question तो actual question अलग है ना, because actual question is still this one: is the accident avoidable or not? Real question घूम फिर के हमारा यहीं पे है. 48 seconds लगेंगे, ठीक है, 48 seconds तो लगेंगे, बट ब्रेक मारेंगे तो धीरे धीरे टाइम बढ़ता रहेगा. तो सवाल काफी सिंपल है. Essentially, if somebody is going from 60 kph to 0, right? 60 से 0 अगर पहुंचना है, क्या 800 मीटर के डिस्टेंस में एक ट्रेन 60 से 0 पहुंच सकता है? What do you guys think? सुमित, वंश, क्या लगता है आपको? Do you think the train can reach 0? Is it reasonable? मतलब एकदम रिस्क ऑफ डिरेलिंग और इतना सब करके तो नहीं, बट 800 मीटर, ऑलमोस्ट 1 किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस है, हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो पाएगा? What is your thought process? बताओ, सोचो, बताओ। नो सीक्रेट्स, आंसर मांगता है। व्हाट डू यू गाइस थिंक, व्हाट डू यू गाइस थिंक? हो जाएगा? यस, 60 से 0 पॉसिबल, पॉसिबल। लुक्स लाइक द एक्सीडेंट शुड बी अवॉइडेबल, राइट? सो इफ द एक्सीडेंट इज अवॉइडेबल, ब्रेक अच्छे में तो हाँ, वो हम अज्यूम करके चलते हैं कि अब बैलेंस से ब्रेक ही खराब हो गया तो डिफेंडेंट की गलती नहीं है ना, फिर तो इंजन ड्राइवर की गलती ही नहीं निकलेगी। So we'll say, is the accident avoidable? Yes, the accident definitely seems avoidable. The accident definitely seems avoidable. If the accident is avoidable, that means ये जो ड्राइवर है, ड्राइवर की गलती थी। Was the driver at fault? Yes. क्या उसके फॉल्ट से फर्क पड़ रहा था? Does it matter? Does it matter? Yes. Because if he was not negligent, अगर वो नेग्लिजेंट ना होता, अगर वो ट्रेन की तरफ देख रहा होता, सॉरी ट्रैक्स की तरफ, तो उसे वो कार दिख जाता, वो ब्रेक मार देता और गाड़ी रुक जाती, राइट? सो विच मीन्स बिकॉज ऑफ द अवॉइडेबिलिटी फैक्टर, because of the avoidability factor, obviously we will deem it that yes, in this case the engine driver is going to be liable. In a similar situation, let's say अगर हम कहें कि इसका स्पीड 60 नहीं 360 था, 360 किलोमीटर पर आवर स्पीड था। अब 360 से 0 पहुंच सकता है 800 मीटर में? कैलकुलेशन भी अलग हो जाएगा ना। ये तो 1 किलोमीटर क्या, 6 किलोमीटर पर मिनट, 6600 मीटर्स पर 6 सेकेंड, जो व्हाटएवर 100 मीटर पर सेकेंड टाइप का स्पीड हो जाएगा, राइट? सो 8 सेकेंड्स, सो ये 48 सेकेंड्स की जगह 8 सेकेंड। हाँ, इतने कम टाइम में, इतने कम टाइम पे हो जाएगा। इज इट पॉसिबल टू अवॉइड? नाउ वंश इज वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट दिस इज, अब ये इम्पॉसिबल हो चुका है। सो नाउ इफ यू लुक एट द सिचुएशन एंड इफ आई आस्क यू द सेम क्वेश्चन अगेन, लेट्स लुक एट द ड्राइवर। अगर स्पीड 360 है, अगर स्पीड 360 है, इज द ड्राइवर एट फॉल्ट? फॉल्ट अभी भी यस, बिकॉज नेग्लिजेंट तो था ही, राइट? वो ट्रैक की तरफ नहीं देख रहा था। बट ये जो सेकेंड वाला फैक्टर है, अब डज इट मैटर? डज इट मैटर? देन द आंसर इज नो, बिकॉज अब वो अगर देख भी लेता, हाँ, देख भी लेता तो ऐसा क्या कर लेता, राइट? So in this case, do we hold the engine driver responsible for the accident? No, because yes, he was negligent, but I mean, even if he wasn't, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? There would have been no difference. There is no way to go from 360 बुलेट ट्रेन अलग से जापान से आया है, बॉम्बे अहमदाबाद तो अभी तक बन नहीं पाया है, but you know, RA फॉरेस्ट और ये सब. So we will not hold the driver liable in this case, and that's how you basically go about it, right? Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Once Spider-Man himself can't stop it. Yeah, I think so. पता नहीं, अब स्पॉइडी का तो कोई भरोसा नहीं है, बट ठीक है, ड्राइवर तो कम से कम नहीं रोक सकता था, नहीं? तो उतना हम लोग मान लेते हैं। Any questions? Any questions? Contribution हम क्या करेंगे? ये दोनों हटा देते हैं। प्लेंटिफ की कितनी गलती है, थर्ड पार्टी की कितनी गलती है, डजंट मैटर। डिफेंडेंट की खुद की कितनी गलती है, डिफेंडेंट हिमसेल्फ, उसका कितना फॉल्ट था, अगर हमने पता कर लिया, राइट? इफ इट इज मोर देन 0, देन द डिफेंडेंट इज लायबल, राइट? देन द डिफेंडेंट इज लायबल, और उसका कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन अगर 0 है, then the defendant is not liable, right? Yes sir, clear, perfect. Okay, so next thing I want to discuss is right to private defense, right? But I didn't plan it properly. I should have probably tried to finish this off a little faster. So what I'll do is I'll try to schedule another session for right to private defense separately sometime soon, right? Yeah, so we'll try to schedule a special class for right to private defense. It's a very, very popular area, right? It's a very, very popular area from which a lot of questions come as far as CLAT is concerned. But बहुत ही predictable area है, right? वही सब questions आते हैं, electrical fencing का, pet का, कोई भाग रहा था उसको गोली मार दिए. So we'll discuss all of those examples, but I want to take a reasonable amount of time and not like 15-20 minutes to really finish it off. Okay, Vansh has a question. Sir, in contributory negligence is always that both will be 50% liable, or the ratio can be completely different. The ratio can be completely different. It really depends on the contribution, right? So for example, plaintiff's own fault is 90% and the defendant's fault is only 10%, and the total case is, let's say, of 100 rupees, 100 INR. INR क्या है पता है ना? Indian National Rupees. That's the official name of the currency. So obviously अब plaintiff खुद की 90% का तो कोई issue नहीं है, क्योंकि केस तो उसी ने फाइल किया है, राइट? तो उसको खुद ही को थोड़ी पे करेगा, वो तो नहीं करेगा. बट डिफेंडेंट कितना पे करेगा? डिफेंडेंट विल पे 10 INR. सो डिफेंडेंट विल से बाकी जो 90 INR है वो पे करने की जिम्मेदारी मेरी नहीं है. दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू पे द रिमेनिंग 90 इज नॉट माइन. वो तुम्हारा खुद का लॉस है क्योंकि तुम्हारी भी गलती थी, राइट? सिमिलरली इफ आई एम एबल टू प्रूव एज अ डिफेंडेंट, इफ आई एम एबल टू प्रूव कि किसी और की गलती थी, तो मैं अपना 10 पे करूंगा जो मेरी गलती थी, राइट? बाकी 90 अगर दूसरे की गलती थी तो भाई तुम उसके अगेंस्ट केस करो, राइट? बट मैं तो क्यों ही पूरा पे करूंगा? दैट वोंट रियली मेक सेंस. So accordingly, so it doesn't have to be 50-50. Vansh, I hope that's clear. It depends on how much somebody has contributed, right? जिसकी जितनी गलती है उसकी उतनी ही जिम्मेदारी होगी, right? जैसे जीवन में जैसे होता है, जीवन में भी ऐसा ही है ना. I mean, unless you're a big celebrity or something, or I don't know. अभी समीर वानखेड़े और शाहरुख खान का क्या चल रहा है अभी तक? फाइनली आई नो आर्यन खान को बेल तो मिल ही गया है, बट आई एम नॉट श्योर what else is happening in the whole story. But anyway, so we will definitely continue with right to private defense and some other general defenses. I will do 2 more sessions, right? 2 more sessions on general defenses, right? And both we will try to do special classes on the app. So ये दोनों हम लोग special classes में ही कर लेंगे, right? Preferably this week itself. Weekend से पहले I'll try to finish off, schedule a few more general defense classes for you guys specifically, right? Vansh, आपको भी information, I hope you're all in the Telegram group में हो, Vansh, तो फिर ज़्यादा easy होगा to be able to coordinate and you're not really going to miss out on any of these important things. Just a gentle reminder, today evening we're going to practice a few questions, right? 12 नवंबर आज हो चुका है. आज रात को 9:30 बजे पास्ट ईयर पेपर के कुछ क्वेश्चंस हम डेफिनेटली प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. सो प्लीज डू जॉइन मी फॉर अ फ्यू प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस. डिनर विनर सब खत्म कर लेंगे, राइट? टॉट का आज 8 बजे भी एक और सेशन भी है, राइट? वी डू हैव अनदर सेशन एट 8 PM टुडे. Do feel free to join in for that. If you're taking any of the subscriptions, please do remember to use the code DAVE10 as a high five to me. And a gentle reminder in the end before I wrap it up, today 8 PM तो एक सेशन है ही where we will continue with the law of torts, right? एक तो ये वाला हो गया और दूसरा है हम स्पेशल क्लासेस भी करेंगे, right? स्पेशल क्लास भी है today at 9:30, right? And this is a practice session. अगर क्वेश्चंस करने हैं, आपको क्वेश्चन करने हैं पास्ट ईयर पेपर्स का, दिस इज एट 9:30 PM. and the normal tort class, this is the tort class, this will be on YT, this will be on YouTube. I hope to see you guys there. Have a lovely afternoon and an evening, और ये वाला ब्रेक आप लोग बढ़िया से एंजॉय करिए. मैं तब तक दोनों क्लासेस की तैयारी करता हूँ, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much. Good to see you again, Vansh. Bye bye. Thank you.